y'all, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the kitchen. We are doing a fun cook with me today, but more specifically a what I eat in a day. I feel like I never thought I'd be filming one of these types of videos. However, I shared in some other videos, like I've been struggling a lot with like fatigue. My energy has been extremely low. I was also gaining a lot of weight and just some like unexplained issues that I was having. Like I just felt like my body was off and something was not right. So I went to see a integrative medicine doctor. She ran all the tests, asked all the right questions, and found out that I have an overproduction of candida, which basically means I have too much yeast in my gut. So I am on this special diet cleanse and it has been very, very difficult. I'm not gonna lie to you and say like, oh, it's been so easy, it has been so great, but I will promise you that the results have been amazing. I feel so much better. Honestly, like energy and fatigue wise, I feel better than I felt in the past 5 years, which is crazy. And side effect, which was not exactly the goal, but your girl has lost 6 pounds, honey. So I am not complaining at all. I definitely want to like kind of keep up with some of these good habits after I finish up the cleanse, because it's like clearly my gut was suffering and that was showing in so many areas of my body. Also, if you can tell in my skin, it is literally, oh, there we go. Let me turn the light on. Okay, so if you can tell in my skin, literally glowing because my gut was in such a bad state and I had no idea. So I'm gonna be taking off through the day with like what I eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then also if I am hungry, I'm gonna fit some snacks in there as well, just to show you like a realistic day of how these things go. So we're gonna get started with a little breakfast. This is pretty much a no-cook breakfast, which is very exciting. And I will say one of the other things I've learned throughout this process is just add as many veggies as you can. As long as they're not veggies that your body is producing as sugar, you can totally have them. That has been challenging because there's literally sugar in everything. So like condiment wise, it's been kind of hard to find condiments that I can actually use. So I'll kind of walk you through what I'm using. I'm pretty sure I'm not doing this perfectly at all, but it's working. I'm feeling so much better. I'm looking so much better. So let's get into it. So rice cakes have been one of the best things I have found and actually I'm somewhat enjoying throughout this cleanse process. I have to do this for 3 weeks. I'm on week 2 now. So these rice cakes, this particular brand is Quaker, but I also have some that I just got from Aldi. So I just get the ones that are lightly salted. I am a little bit confused, but like grains and wheat, like what's the difference? I'm not gonna lie to y'all. But basically I just read the back and make sure that everything is okay for me to have. So it says the ingredients are whole grain brown rice, which I can have brown rice. I just can't have wheat or yeast. So this has seemingly been working out pretty well. So I'm going to be making tuna salad today, and the veggies that I'm adding are celery, green bell pepper, and green onion. I think I'll put a little extra. This has been pretty much my go-to combo as far as like veggies to add into stuff. I did some crab cakes last week. I think today we're gonna be doing a meatloaf, so you'll see these veggies again. All right, let me get these washed. They are like wilting away, but that's okay because I'm gonna grind them up anyways. Another thing to note too, I think like with any like specialty diet or cleanse or eating plan, like you have to cook at home. Thankfully, I enjoy cooking, but I will say like this will be challenging if you are someone who does not cook, because you got to get creative. You got to kind of know your way around the kitchen. So I'm hoping even if you're like, I want to do like a gut health diet or a candida cleanse, but I don't cook, that this video will give you some inspiration, because we're going to be doing some like pretty simple recipes that are like very quick, very easy, anyone can do. Easy is the name of the game. So let me move y'all over here. All right, so I'm just literally gonna chop off the parts of this that are not the freshest, and then also chop off some here at the bottom because you don't want that. And then just use this little paper towel to kind of set all that stuff aside. So basically doing the same thing on all of them. I always just pound my bell pepper to get all those extra seeds out. All right, give everything a rough chop. Now I feel like this food processor makes everything so much easier. So I'm just gonna move those in there. Now seasoning is going to be your friend throughout this process because definitely a lot of the food is bland, but you just want to make sure that you're using seasonings that don't have any sugar in them. It's super easy to just check the label and make sure. So I'm going to go in with this special blend. This is basically like garlic, onion. There's a few peppers crushed up in there as well. And I'm also going to add some black pepper and some Himalayan pink salt. Not too much because that first special blend seasoning does have some salt in it as well, and you just don't want to have too much sodium. And then I'm going to add in the veggie mixture, which of course also adds a ton of flavor. Lastly, this is also a pretty much non-dairy cleanse that I'm on, so I'm going to use this Veganese. I did check it to make sure there was no sugar in it, so we're good to go. I have been using coconut yogurt, which is another good option, but of course it's coconut yogurt, so it tastes like coconut. This I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be using, but I'm going to add it in. Just a little bit of white wine vinegar to give it a little bit of a tangier taste. That's it, give it a good mix. I think I'm gonna add one more can since I have so much sauce. That's another good thing as well, like if you do have to do some type of diet cleanse, make a good bit of things that you can eat on for a couple of days so that you don't feel like you're having to make something new every single day. Alright, so here's what our tuna salad looks like. I'm gonna put my 2 rice cakes down. I feel like this too is good, like it keeps me pretty full, at least for a few hours until my next meal. Takes a little bit of creativity, but it's worth it. Alright, so I'm going to go in with this avocado spread. This is the Good Foods brand from Sprouts. It already has salt and pepper in it, so even if you don't add any seasoning, oops, it gives a little something. Alright, next step I'm going to add in some everything but the bagel seasoning. I had to check the ingredients as well on this one to make sure there was no sugar, and we're good to go. And finally, there are some cheeses that I can have, even though this is mostly non-dairy. So goat cheese and mozzarella cheese are approved. But for this, I'm gonna go in with some goat cheese. Just a few crumbles on top. It adds like just a different layer to the flavor. And there we go. Here is our beautiful, simple, easy, high protein, low candida breakfast. I am starving, so I'm gonna go eat this, and I will see y'all potentially for a snack or maybe for lunch, we'll see. We are back for lunch. It is the same day. I'm just in a different outfit because I'm also content batching today. Also, it's storming, so it's super dark, so sorry about the lighting. Hopefully the oven light will help a little bit, but it's time for lunch. So we're still going anti-candida, trying to get healthy, reduce the yeast, all that stuff. So this is a new recipe for me. I've made the beef before, but I have not made the tortillas. So we're gonna be using cassava flour tortillas. So these are candida approved. If you look on the bag, the ingredients are cassava flour, water, coconut oil, apple cider vinegar, sea salt, and that's basically it. So definitely, again, always check the ingredients, but it'll kind of let you know if it's something you can have or something that you should avoid. So we're gonna do some like shaved beef tacos, and I am very, very excited. I'm starving. I did not have a snack, so this is definitely coming in handy. So I have some shaved beef that I have left over from last week. I had it in the freezer and just defrosted it, so it's ready to go. All right, so olive oil is the approved oil to have on a gut health diet. So I'm gonna put that in the pan, let it heat up while I rinse and season the beef. All right, so I'm using the same seasoning combo, black pepper, the special blend, which is onion garlic, and a little bit of Himalayan pink salt. The reason I say a little bit is because we're also going to be using this Better Than Bouillon seasoning, and it is very intense. So I'm just going to mix up the dry seasonings first. Make sure it's fully coated. It's a little bit difficult with the shaved beef because it doesn't really pull apart super well. So you kind of have to pull it apart while you are mixing it in. So I'm going to go ahead and add in that beef seasoning, about this much. And also some chicken broth. And let's just spread it out so everything can get a nice even cook. I want to add in, of course, a little bit more color and a little bit more flavor. So we're going to take the rest of that bell pepper from earlier, also the rest of this onion. I'm going to pop that in with the beef. And while that cooks, I'm going to slice up some tomato and some lettuce. Actually just use this as an opportunity to get creative and to really put forth effort to just do this full steam ahead, and it's been great. Alright, so I'm gonna go in with the beef. I'm already making a mess. Make sure I get some bell peppers in there. Tomato. Salsa is also on the approved list, so this is a medium salsa because I do say to kind of like stay away from things that are too spicy, but medium should be perfectly fine. And also I'm going to go in with some mozzarella cheese since that is one of the few dairy items that is approved. Oh my gosh, y'all, these look so good. All right, I'm off to enjoy my lunch. I've got my tacos, I got my sparkling water. I mean, it's not exactly giving like queso, Mexican restaurant margaritas, but you know what? I feel like I did pretty good considering, so I'm gonna go eat. Hey y'all, we're back. It's time for dinner. I will say I'm cooking dinner a little bit earlier tonight because it's storming. I don't know if y'all can hear. You can probably hear. But I don't want to risk the power going out and not have dinner prepared, especially since like I can't just go pick up anything random and eat it. So I'm gonna get the meatloaf going now. I'm gonna turn on the oven. I would say preheat your oven to about 400. I'm gonna do 415 just because I like need this to cook just in case we don't have power. But I purchased some gluten-free breadcrumbs thinking that that would be okay because they don't have any gluten. However, it turns out that is not okay because they did have yeast in them. So no breadcrumbs are going to be going into this meatloaf. We're going to be using carrots. And then I'm also going to blend up some onion and some red bell pepper to kind of give it like a little pasty feel, which is also going to help it stick together. But again, add that extra nutrients, add some more flavor and stuff like that. Oh, this bell pepper is so pretty. I just feel like it's stunning. I'm not going to use the whole thing, so I'm going to just cut off the bottom half. Again, I'm going to be doing a rough chop because we're going to be using the food processor. But instead of pulsing it like I did the last time, I'm actually just going to hold it down because I do want it to like blend and mix really well together. In this neighborhood, I feel like the power goes out all the time. I think it's because like my last neighborhood, the power never went out. We actually lived on the street with the fire department, which was nice. We were on a good grid. But here it's just like constantly going out. So we gotta kind of race against time. I'm gonna put the lid on and just hold it down so that it can fully blend. So now we have vegetable breadcrumbs. I promise you they will serve the same purpose and they're much healthier. All right, let's get everything mixed together. This is some lean ground beef. And I'm gonna add 1 egg. I'm gonna use a little bit of the special blend, but I actually prefer regular garlic powder and onion powder for this because I want it to be very strong. And lastly, some seasoned salt. So I'm gonna start mixing that up. I know some people don't like to touch raw meat, but honestly, it does not bother me. And it just gets the job done much faster. Just make sure that you wash your hands and, like, obviously I have nails, so thoroughly wash under your nails and everything as well. I'm gonna add in my veggie breadcrumbs. Alright, so I've got my pan. I promise it's clean. It's just well seasoned, so it gets a little bit darker over time. So I'm gonna spray the bottom of my pan with avocado oil. Again, even if it's just something you're using to spray your pan, try to make sure that it is candida friendly. And plop that in there. All right, so I'm gonna form it into a loaf. Put that in there. I would say let it bake for about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on like how much doneness you want. But in the meantime, we're gonna be making a candida-free sauce to go on top of it. So turns out ketchup has sugar in it, which I had no idea. I knew barbecue sauce did. But also I can't even use like Worcester sauce or soy sauce. So we're gonna try these coconut liquid aminos. And then I have this no sugar added ketchup and also no sugar added ever barbecue sauce. I think I have some red wine vinegar. Let me see. All right, yes, I do. I was looking for this yesterday. Could not find it anywhere. All right, so this is super simple. Basically, this is the stuff I would use, except I would use sugary ketchup, sugary barbecue sauce, and also Worcester sauce, but we are gonna get creative. So I will say, like, I do plan to kind of go back to eating some things with sugar. Like, I'm probably gonna have condiments with sugar in them, but it is nice to at least have these alternatives. And this will be good for me through the next 3 weeks, or if ever I do start to feel like I'm not at my best again and potentially it's candida, then I'll have these on hand. Oh, and there goes the lights. Okay, let's hurry up. Literally all the time the lights want to go out. Okay, that has a really strange consistency. I didn't really shake it well. Maybe that was why. Even though this has no added sugar, it does have like some natural sugars in there. So if you're going to be having things that do have a little bit of sugar, just try not to use as much because you don't want to be feeding the yeast and cause it to come back. Like, these 3 weeks are all I have in me. So I've already planned like my first meal once this is over. And I am ready to just at least have more options in life again. So I'm not trying to risk it. Okay, so these are coconut aminos. I do not like the smell of that. Ugh. All right, y'all, we'll see how this goes. I don't know. The sauce is scaring me a little. I'm gonna add in some red wine vinegar. Again, not too much because I know it's not really alcohol, but oh yeah, it says no significant source of sugar, so I think it's fine. And then you gotta season everything. So for this, I'm just gonna add in some parsley. It makes it look pretty and it also helps with the taste. I don't even know if you have to rinse brown rice, it's just a habit at this point. So to help with flavor, I don't just cook it in water like I would do my regular jasmine rice. I add some Himalayan pink salt. And I cook it in some chicken broth. So you want your water to look a little bit murky. Again, keeping it simple is the goal because you want to make this as sustainable as possible. And if you're having to like try to keep fresh veggies going all the time, it can be really challenging. So frozen veggies are completely fine. I'm going to use this bag of broccoli. That is the nice thing about the Candida diet. There's not a lot of limitations when it comes to vegetables. And there's lots of variety. Like I'm going to do some zucchini this week as well. I've used like every color bell pepper possible just to kind of mix it up and make it less sad and boring. All right, I'm also going to add in about a tablespoon of butter. It's just some leftover butter I had sitting out. That made me very happy when I realized that it was okay to have butter on the Candida diet, as long as it's real butter. You don't want to use like margarine or anything, but actual real butter is perfectly fine, which, as y'all know, makes everything taste so much better. So that was a big relief for me. All right, so there is our broccoli. You know, filming this video, I'm like, I've kind of been using the same seasonings, but basically add in some black pepper. I'll also do the special blend. And a little bit of pink Himalayan salt. Keep it simple, but it's also still going to be really good. I don't know if I mentioned I poured a little bit of chicken broth in there as well, so it'll all cook down nicely. So I'll give it like a little stir, but I want to let it all cook. So I'm going to put the lid on, and that's that. Now I know I did not really show y'all any snacks today just because I didn't eat a lot of snacks today. I woke up a little bit later, so I wasn't as hungry as I typically am, but I'm gonna go ahead and prep some snacks for the rest of the week, and y'all be able to see kind of what I've been snacking on. And this has actually been like pretty filling, and it's something that I look forward to. So I do a lot of these little mini Persian cucumbers, and you can't have like ranch or anything like that. So I typically just drizzle them in some all natural lemon juice and then sprinkle a little bit of pink salt and pepper on them, and they're good to go. But honestly, the key is just making sure that they're prepped in advance. So just give them a cute little slicing. Sometimes I'll also like cut it this way first and then cut it this way so they're like little half moons instead of circles. Do whatever you have to do to kind of switch it up and keep it interesting, honestly. But cucumbers are a great option, a quick thing to grab. So just make sure that you pre-prep them so you can easily eat them throughout the day. Another great option is berries. You can pretty much have every berry when you're trying to get rid of Candida, but I don't really love blueberries, blackberries, or raspberries. I will eat them sometimes, but strawberries are pretty much my main go-to. I did have these delivered, so I feel like they're not the best as far as freshness goes, but strawberries are always a good option. Obviously, you could just leave them whole after cleaning them, but again, I like things that are super accessible, so cutting it up makes it easy. And I think like that's kind of the thing that I was missing initially when I started this cleanse, was just like the ease of being able to grab like a bag of chips or have like some crackers, because those things are just like pre-packaged, super easy, ready to roll. So I figured just taking a few minutes, like I'm in the kitchen anyways, I have meatloaf in the oven, I've got veggies cooking on the stove, so there's no point in me not making the best use of my time in here and prepping a few snacks while I'm at it. These two are pretty much the only ones I'll eat. I do also have watermelon sometimes, but I don't know, I feel like I have mixed feelings about the watermelon. So the list that my doctor gave me says that I can have it, but I also know that watermelon is like more of a sugary fruit. I don't know. I don't know the scientific reasoning behind it. So I just try to stay away from a little bit. I do just try to eat a little bit less of it just in case. Same thing with cherries. Cherries are in season right now, And if I like at nighttime, I'm like, ooh, I really want something sweet, I will definitely go for some fresh cherries. Like they always fulfill my sweet craving and they give like a dessert vibe. I did get this like sugar-free, dairy-free ice cream, which was basically just frozen unsweetened coconut milk. I do not recommend. So just eat the cherries. This has been my favorite brand of cherries so far, the Primavera Select. I get these from Sprouts. They stay fresh pretty long and they also taste really sweet. And also I feel like the good news is, honestly, if all else fails, you can always have a salad. Like salad's completely fine, you just can't have salad dressing. I did find like a sugar-free salad dressing that's pretty much just apple cider vinegar. I have not tasted it yet, but I'll usually just drizzle some olive oil and I'll add this little seasoning. So this is from the Gourmet Collection. This is also where the special blend is from, this brand. This is their Salad Spectacular Spice Blend. So again, just check everything, make sure there's not like a bunch of sugar or anything in there. So that's pretty good to sprinkle on top. And then sometimes I'll also add just like a little bit of lemon juice to kind of have like a little tangy flavor, some type of variety. Like honestly, you have to get creative, you have to have fun with it, you gotta think outside the box because it can be draining. But again, like it's been a long day. I've accomplished so much today. I have filmed a lot, cleaned my house, all the things in between, and I'm still like pretty well energized, and that would not have been the case before I started this Candida cleanse. So it's definitely worth it. Like take care of your gut, make sure you're checking in with yourself, find a good doctor who actually is going to go in depth, do the work with you to try to figure out exactly what's going on. And if you have to go on a cleanse, like it's not the end of the world. If you're not sure if you have Candida or if there's an issue with your gut, that's also totally fine, and you're not able to go to the doctor, then just try out some of the things that I shared in the video today, and you'll kind of see like if it's working for you, then there is a potential that you do have too much yeast in your gut, and so doing this for about 3 weeks can be helpful. So hopefully some of the snacks and meal ideas that I shared will be some inspiration for you to just like really start it if you need to, or stick with it if you have not started it. The doctor also did recommend a bunch of like supplements and vitamins, so if you'll have questions about those, what I'm taking, just ask in the comment section below and I'll definitely drop the information for you. Again, I am not a doctor, this is just what my doctor recommended for me, but it could potentially work for you as well. Everything's super easy to get over the counter. But yeah, that is basically it. So we're still in power, thankfully. Let's take a peek at the meatloaf. It looks good. It's not done. It looks orange. So also I made a lot so I can have leftovers for tomorrow. Like the goal is just to make it simple, make it easy, and make it very sustainable for you so that you can get through it and see the benefits. So hopefully by the time I'm done, I'll be like down 15 pounds if I keep going like 5 pounds a week. This is actually working out pretty well and like helping me hit my goal because we are going to Italy. I will share more about that in some upcoming videos, but your girl needs to be snatched, honey, and also like feeling good because it's a lot of walking. So this is the first step to get there, and it's also just good for my health overall. So hopefully this was helpful for y'all. I'm gonna sign off now and say goodbye. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.